All right. Good evening. Welcome back to the Two Talking Fools. Tonight, it's just Kate doing a solo podcast here in the clubhouse here in Connecticut. I want to thank all of you for coming. And the reason why we're doing this tonight, and I'm very grateful that Eric is here to talk to us, is because a lot of you reached out specifically on YouTube about 7OH, your struggles with it, your problems with it, trying to get off of it. And how scared people are because imagine being addicted to something and then having it abruptly taken away from you or the potential of. There's a lot of things that can go on with this topic. I took initial, let's just say, interest in it when I went on a rabbit hole on TikTok and decided that I too wanted to see how easy it was to get this type of medication. Went 15 minutes to the Massachusetts border, went in and found literal candy shops full of this drug. Needless to say, we're on tonight with Eric. Eric is from Texas, and his story is very interesting. And for those of you who are trying to get off of this, we hear you, we see you, and Eric is going to share his story. These are not easy stories to tell. And Eric, it took you 5 times, I believe you said, to get off this.
Yeah.
Let's dive into this. Eric, welcome to the Two Talking Fools podcast.
Hi. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Happy to be here.
So I don't know. I guess where we begin is let's talk a little bit about you before we get into, let's say, the 7OH.
Okay.
Um, was this something? Do you have an addictive personality? Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Sure. Well, just like everyone else. Well, I should say most people in high school. You play around with stuff, right? But I never got too crazy into it. In general. But so recently, I went through an alcohol problem. I'd
Yep.
say from around 2010 till about I quit drinking in 21. Uh, so I've definitely got some history with addiction there. But other than alcohol and cigarettes that I used to be addicted to, and legal stuff, right? Just I was never a guy that was using cocaine a lot, or I wasn't smoking a lot of weed. I wasn't really doing anything crazy. Just I'd gotten past my, let's see, I quit smoking like right before I quit drinking in 21, and then I had some major surgery, which helped me rededicate myself to healthy lifestyles.
Yeah.
And I guess it was in 2024, just moving along to where I got
Yeah.
addicted, right?
Yeah.
So a friend of mine said, you got to try this stuff, right? He said, go look up 7-hydroxy online. He's like, there's a website and you can get he's like, just request a free sample. You'll get 5 tabs for like $2 for shipping. So I did that, and I'm looking at these 5 tabs, and I don't know what to expect. He was telling me how a friend of his was just like knocked out after doing it, like was just completely gone. So I'm like, okay, well, I have zero tolerance. I'm like, should I take a whole one? He's like, start with half. So these were 15 milligram tablets. So I was taking about 7.5, I guess. I mean, it was cut with my finger, so it wasn't exactly an exact science, right?
Now this is after you quit drinking.
Yes, about 3 years after.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay. Okay.
No, right?
Like you did
So
so good, like to quit alcohol, to quit cigarettes. Literally the most difficult thing, but okay.
So, oh, I lost my thought. Right. So I took it once, and I have no history with pills. Right? I mean, I'm sure I've taken tramadol and stuff when I was younger. I'm sure when I had my wisdom teeth pulled, I had something because that was in the early 2000s when everyone got pills, right?
Yeah.
Uh, but I mean, it's not like I ever used them and abused them. It was just doctor's orders only, and I always followed directions, and I didn't know, whatever. So I took this half tablet. So when I felt that feeling that an opioid gives you, that warm brain hug that I think I heard on previous podcasts here, which is a really good description, by the way, um, I was just blown away by it. I didn't know I was in danger. I just liked the feeling. And so I did it the next night and felt great. So I'm just sitting there watching TV. Like it was like when I used to drink. pop a tablet. I'm just watching TV for like a couple, 2 or 3 hours, feeling
Yeah.
really nice the whole time. And then when it wears off, I go to bed. No
Yeah.
harm, right?
No.
I wasn't doing it in the mornings or during the day. It was just at night, kind of like having a drink and then going to bed. So I didn't suspect anything. Now, I'd say about within a week of this happening, I told my friend I was using it every day, and he said, "Stop, use it once a week." He's like, or every other day. Or he's like, "Do not do it every day. You're gonna regret that." So I don't know, I don't know if saying I was surprised that I couldn't do it is accurate. I think I just didn't heed the warning, right? Because I didn't understand what that kind of addiction could feel like, and so I thought, okay, well, he's being cautious, but whatever. So this was
And you're only
in.
taking half a pill. You're only doing it at
Yeah,
night.
yeah. What's the harm, right? I
Right,
mean,
right,
it's almost following the directions that are on the packages, right? Like use a quarter of a tab once a day tops. I mean,
right.
I was pretty much following those directions, except they didn't have them then. So at one point you run out of the pack, and I mean, I wasn't having withdrawals or anything, so I ordered another one, waited a few days, got it, used it, fun. And then after a few more days, I'm like, I think I'm gonna go for a bigger package, so I don't have to order this like every other week. And so, I don't know if I should be naming brand names or anything.
Yeah, you can hear if you so choose or not.
Yeah. So the brand name I always liked was VII, so it's seven in Roman numerals, right?
Yeah.
Um, it felt like a good high to me. It didn't taste bad, didn't hurt my stomach. I mean, I've used other stuff since then, and always got kind of a weird stomach ache, not feeling quite right. That didn't happen with these tablets, so even if I went back to them, but I'm kind of jumping ahead of myself. So I just found these. I ordered a pack of, I want to say like 20 maybe. They were 15 milligram tablets.
Okay.
So and the way I was using them, I'm like, it's like a month's supply, and I don't remember how much it cost, but it wasn't like a horrible high amount. I want to say, maybe $50, $40. But for
Okay,
20
for a
tabs,
month.
yeah, I mean, I was getting like 20 tabs and I was using half a tab, so it was lasting like 40 days. So what's $50? Who cares?
Right,
Right?
right. Justifiable.
It's
Sure.
still cheaper than beer, you know.
Right. Facts. Facts. That's scary. That's scary. But yes.
At that level, it is, right?
Yeah.
So then let's see here. It kind of got a little bit more when I think I decided to start to try a full pill just on the whim. Let's go to 15 milligrams. And I started doing that every night. And then I discovered that, well, I don't want to get into the activities I like to do, like walking and stuff, but we don't want to jump into that stuff. It just felt nice, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
so then I noticed that they had other pills. They started coming out with flavors like raspberry and I don't remember the others. There was a mint, I think. And those were 20 milligrams. I started doing that. So now I'm taking 20 milligrams and I'm still feeling okay. I don't feel any danger. So
And you're
this
still
also,
doing it at night.
what? What's that?
And you're still doing it at night. It's just
Yeah.
night. It's not like
It
it's
never, yeah, it never, I want to say it never affected work, but one thing I did notice towards the end. So I started this in late June of 24, right? Uh, in August of 24, I was staying up later, maybe taking a second dose sometimes. And I couldn't sleep on this stuff. I don't think anyone can. It's like,
wow.
well, I don't want to say anyone. I couldn't at those doses. So if I took one, say at 11 p.m., I was up till 2. There was no way I could try to sleep, but I'd be tossing, nothing.
Right.
It just didn't work out. So I would end up, getting like 4 hours of sleep a night. And it wasn't restful sleep. I woke up feeling like maybe I dozed for 10 minutes. I didn't feel great. So
Right.
in a way, work did get affected. And the other thing I noticed, and I think this is when I decided I had to stop, was a friend of mine recommended a book. And so I started to read it, and I would read it while I was on it. And I couldn't focus. It would take me 20 minutes to read a page. I just kept my mind kept, and I have ADHD, so maybe it made it worse, right? But then I noticed too, like a weird thing. Like I'd be watching TV, and it was like I was in a circle. I kept rewinding it for 20 seconds to rewatch a scene. And it's almost like I couldn't pay attention, so I rewind it again and over and over. And then I realized it would take me like 3 hours to get through a 1 hour episode of something. And that really annoyed me. That's
Yeah.
just, and I'm sure everyone
Right.
has weird stories like that. how they affected them in a unique way, right?
Of course, absolutely.
So I decided in September of that month, I'm done. I'm just going to stop. So I was going to see my friend that told me about them. And he said, look, he goes, because I tried to not use it for one night and that was fine. I didn't sleep well, but that was okay. The second night, I started having like, if you ever had restless legs, but
Oh, it's the worst.
it was in my arms. So you're laying
Oh,
down and you got to twitch a little bit. And so I'm like, what is that? And so anyway, he said, look, he goes, that's withdrawals of opiates. You took it too many times. You didn't give any space. He goes, fly out here, fly for a weekend. We'll clean you up and don't touch it anymore, which sounds reasonable, right?
sure.
So I went out there, just laid in his bed for like 4 days, and I just had some twitchiness, but and I think at one point I discovered that I could take kratom and it would make the withdrawals go away. And so I would take 1 or 2 grams of kratom and I'd feel better for a couple of hours. I'm like, okay, cool. And at one point I lost the bottle in his house somewhere. And so I had gone like 24 hours. I was twitchy and uncomfortable. And he's like, look, he goes, just take a 7 pill so you can sleep well tonight and start over tomorrow. Well, that I didn't like the idea, but all right. So I did. And I slept great. And then I took a tablet that he had given me and I cut it into four pieces, right? And so that way, if I felt, I was worried that on the plane home I would be in a tight space, and if I was uncomfortable, I might have a bit of an anxiety or a panic attack.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, it's fine home. I popped like a fourth of one, and it lasted me a bit, and I was okay, you know. And after I got home, I just said, nope, not touching it, and a couple days withdrawals were done. It wasn't that bad that time. So after a couple of weeks, I'm like, yeah, I just want to do it one more time. I just want to feel that warm hug again.
Wow.
Just 2 or 3 weeks later, and I took one, and then I was back on that routine of every night, and I was like, well, I can take kratom, it'll stop it, and it's not that bad. And the one thing looking back that I noticed was when I was doing it the first time, I was taking 30 to 40 milligrams a night when I finally said I'm going to stop. Like I started at like 7, but I got to 30 and 40.
Wow.
And the second time I was using, by the time I quit, I was doing 60 milligrams a night. But I was still doing it at night, right? So I
Right.
started back up in October of 24, and then in December I decided I'm just going to stop. December 1st will be my day, and I'm going to taper because quitting was getting more uncomfortable than it was the first time. So someone on Reddit had told me about this taper schedule he had created where he would take all the tablets and he would cut them up into eighths, right? So 8 pieces per tablet. And he's like, every day or every 2 days, just remove 1/8 and just know that that's how much you're taking that day. So you'll be uncomfortable, but it won't be that bad.
Right. Right.
And
Okay.
it makes sense,
It
right?
does. If yeah,
Instead of a really bad withdrawal, you'll have a very slow, it'll be drawn out, you'll be uncomfortable,
tapered.
it'll be horrible.
Sure.
That's the idea. So I started using kratom wherever I needed to because it still hurt, right? So by
Right.
January of 25, I was off 7, but now I was using 20 grams a day of kratom. And when I tried to lower the kratom, I had the same withdrawals.
Wow.
So I wasn't in a better place. I was just on a cheaper product.
Right.
So I did that until for a month. And then I realized 7, it's more expensive, but at least I don't feel like I've got this leaf stuff in my stomach. I was like, maybe it'll be cleaner that way. I won't be taking 20 pills to.
Right.
So I went back on 7 because it was better than kratom. And I did that. Now I was taking them during the day. This was the first time I would take them at work. So this
And
is my third
I
cycle.
wonder what, like, I wonder, Eric, what made you jump? Like, okay, so it's like you said, like we initially talked, it got worse and worse and worse. But at this point, you were sober from it for a bit. What made you now want to take it during the day?
I don't know, actually. I I don't know. What I did notice was my withdrawals were happening like when I was taking it only at night, I would notice that I would start having small withdrawals by like say 5 p.m. It's like, okay, I'll take a little bit before I leave work. I don't want to get in a car wreck, so I'll take a tiny bit to lower that and then I'll go home. And it started creeping to 4 and then 3 p.m. So I was beginning to have a serious problem,
Right.
right? And so eventually it would like I'd wake up in the morning and sometimes I'd feel a little off, so I'd take a little bit in the morning. And I was like, oh, that really felt nice. It's a nice way to get up, and I
We're
remember
laughing about it, but it's not funny. Like we're laughing because, but it's not funny. But
I was in a trap and I think I was starting to appreciate the trap at this point,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. It in hindsight, when you're past it all, you're like, that's kind of funny, like not ha ha funny, but yeah, it's easy to laugh at problems after it's over, right?
No, you're right. Now, at this point, are you talking to your friend and telling him again, like, hey, I'm like really hooked, like I'm taking it during the day? Or are you like embarrassed now to tell him?
I mean, we talked about everything, me and him. So I'm sure I did. Um, I really don't remember, but I remember. Yeah, no, I don't remember if I told him a whole lot about it. I remember that he apologized to me for introducing it to me,
Right.
but and I kept telling him, no, no, I'm responsible for myself. I did this to myself. You don't have to apologize. But
Eric,
yeah,
this is a very like ongoing thing that we hear is like the like as you know the first one we did the interview she herself she got a free pack sample from her husband's work. Like it feels like a lot of this free sample came about. This was their marketing scheme or their way to market it through. I suppose it's brilliant, but it's very harmful because this is how it starts. It's innocent.
yeah,
And again, I have to say this too. I was born in 1984. Up until recent, I've never heard of Kratom in my entire life.
right. I first heard of kratom in I want to say around 2018, and I used it a little bit because I heard it can help you stop drinking. And this was when I was in the middle of all that. And I noticed if I took some, I didn't have a desire. But I just didn't like taking it,
Okay.
And so I didn't really get into it that much back then. But yeah, same here. I mean, I just heard about it maybe, well, okay, I guess bit longer ago than you, 8 years ago.
Yeah. No, but yeah, no, I get it. It's new. All right. So where are we at now? So let's get back to your, because I don't want to derail our story.
All right, let me think here. So we're on the third cycle. This
Yeah.
went on from late January of 25 through April of 25. Oh man, so this was when I wanted to stop again, and I don't remember how much I was taking at this point, but um, I don't want to say friend, someone I know online, right? So he told me, look, he's like, subs will work. Subs will remove like 80 or 90% of the withdrawals, and you can just stop. Do you be on subs for a week and then just stop everything, right? And so I did that, and wow, it was so much easier.
Really?
Oh, like I said, it took like 80, 90% of the withdrawals away. So I would have a little kratom on the first couple of days and
Yeah.
then just stop everything. I'm good.
Well,
It was a huge difference. It's a little embarrassing to use the online website to get the prescription because you got to admit your problem to a doctor, right? And he's going to
right.
put for what the medical community does with subs, which is 8 milligrams of subs twice a day for like 30 or 60 days, and then we'll talk about lowering it. And I knew that there was some serious withdrawals coming from subs because, funny enough, the friend that first introduced me, he used 7.0 to get off of subs, the Suboxone.
Can you explain that drug at all? I've been hearing about that too, but I don't know enough about it.
So it's I mean, okay. I only know a little bit myself, but it's a very strong opioid, but it doesn't get you high. It's missing that piece of it. And so the thing is, you've got these opioids that are wrapping around your mu receptor, if I'm pronouncing that right.
Yeah.
And the Suboxone, and I know I'm pronouncing that wrong, but close enough. The subs,
Yeah.
it it kind of wraps around that same receptor, and it'll kick off most substances that are wrapped around it because it's see, this is where if I had a bit of a medical degree, I might be able to understand it properly. I don't want to give I want to use terms. I'm like, I don't know if that's proper, so maybe I'll just say it kicks off all the stuff,
Yeah.
the other stuff that's there, and it wraps around it and covers it. And so the thing is, if you use subs for too long and then you remove that, the subs have a very long half life, and so it kind of, I don't know, makes the withdrawals last forever. It's like the friend of mine that used seven to get off of subs. He went cold turkey on subs, and for like 6 weeks, he said he was shaking, sweating, going through all the opioid withdrawals from subs because he just said, I don't want to be on this anymore. And it was towards the very end when he just was like wanting some kind of relief, and so he tried seven and got himself a new addiction. And he was taking it whenever he felt withdrawal. So he was taking like 8 times a day. I don't remember the dosage. This was 2 years ago. I don't remember details really.
Sure.
But in any case, so I use subs, and what I was told was that as long as you don't use subs more than 10 days or so, you won't get that dependency on them. And since seven's half life is like, I mean, you don't really feel the withdrawals past a week. I mean, the worst time is about 72 hours in, and by day 5 or 6, you may be off, but you're feeling okay. I
Right.
know everyone's different, right? Some people are in hell for a long time,
Sure.
but within 2 weeks, your withdrawals are pretty much done with 7.0 or 1 week.
Right.
So you just stay on subs long enough for that withdrawal to be complete, and then you stop subs, and you're good. And then the mental battle begins, right? Don't go back.
Right.
So we have this easy way of getting off using subs or even kratom. It's really not that bad. But you're replacing the dependency. And if you're able to get off, like I just mentioned with subs, you quit in time, you're fine. Now you've got this, oh, I know an easy way to get off. So I can use it occasionally, and then I'll
Right.
just get off again.
Right.
So that's probably what got me to start doing it again the very next month, May of last year.
No.
And this time, because I knew I had an easy way off and I was using it during the day, I think I was around 100 milligrams a day. I don't know. I wasn't really measuring, but I was just popping them whenever I felt like it at this point. And then around July, I quit again with subs. And
Okay.
then I want to say in August, I jumped on for the fifth time. And by this point, I was starting to measure it out. I was taking 200 to 300 milligrams a day. Now it's
Wow.
getting expensive, right?
What does that look like cost wise?
So when I was using, I always went to VII, right? And they weren't that expensive, and they felt clean, and they were all like 15 minutes. Well, no, they got stronger tablets. So I don't really know. I didn't really track the money part of it that much. I don't think I was.
Like, could you guess? Like, just put like
Well, I wonder. I mean, funny enough, I wonder if I could just look it up right now. But
oh my
I
God.
remember it. I remember it being like $40 for like 20 tablets or something like that. And so it's way cheaper than going to a gas station. I know that because people are talking about I'm spending $50 a day, and I'm looking. I'm like, why? Just get it
Oh, people are
online.
spending $100 a day.
Yeah. And I was always confused, like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
And I was starting to get it though, because if you're waiting for your shipment and you run out, and plus if you keep trying to quit, but then it's right here,
Yep.
and you don't want to commit by buying a whole bunch online. So, but in any case, it's all like that weird mental game that's happening, right?
Sure.
So then here's the deal. I went on my final cycle in August of 2025. And in October, maybe it was late September, I decided I was just done. So I started using Kratom to get off of it. I didn't want to use subs too much, because there's always
Yep.
that fear that one that you're going to run out and have to call the doctor again. And then you got to admit, yeah, I went back on that. And this, I'd already called the website a second time. So I did not want a third time trying to get subs.
Right.
So I used Kratom. And then I thought, okay, no, I'm sorry. I wrote this down. I remembered wrong. I use subs. I also use Kratom for some of the withdrawals that you get with the
Okay.
subs, right? But then I realized I didn't want to use subs for too long, and I was still taking Kratom. So I stopped subs. I used Kratom for like 2 or 3 more weeks, and then I used subs to get off of Kratom. If are you
Wow.
following me?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
And the trick to using subs like that is they want you to take like 8 milligrams twice a day, right? Which is not, you don't need that much, and it's going to get you with a new physical dependency. And so I would cut up the strips down to where I got like zero point 0.5 milligrams. And I would take one of those, wait 2 or 3 hours. If I still felt withdrawals, I would take another zero point 0.5. So I was trying to keep it as low as possible. And by day 3, you can just use zero point 0.5 and pretty much be okay for the day. And by, I think around day 6, I'd go to 0.25. And then day 10, I would just stop using. And that's what we're calling a rapid subtaper, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So I did that in October, and the thing that was bugging me was I knew there was a mental battle, and I was going to go back. I saw the pattern. I have an addiction history. I
Yeah.
quit alcohol 3 or 4 times. I knew exactly what was happening. So I was trying to find the solution to that, and someone was saying that Wellbutrin is great because it ups your baseline dopamine, and so you may not be looking for that fix, right? And they also said it helps with pause, which is like it's like post-acute withdrawal symptoms is what it stands for. And
Okay.
so, like maybe 2 or 3 weeks after quitting, you are suddenly very fatigued, very depressed. Nothing interests you ever. And I think that was mentioned in your previous interview about this
Yeah.
stuff, right? And so I decided, let's give Wellbutrin a try. And I did that, and it went away. The fatigue went away. I
You
mean, it
felt
went away in
better.
the beginning, kind of came back, and then it was gone like 3 weeks later. And then I noticed when I was at the gas station and I saw the product, I had the mental ability to say no. I'd want it, but I'd be like, that's a bad idea, and I'd walk away.
How
So
great.
it worked for me. I'm not saying it works for everyone like that, but it balanced me out pretty well. So that was my miracle cure, right? Was being on Wellbutrin, and suddenly I had the willpower to say no. And I noticed it really helped with my ADHD, so my focus was better, and my life kind of improved from that point.
Do you know like how much that helps somebody just listening that is like, I'm looking for anything. I'm looking for a glimmer of hope. Like just you sharing that could help thousands of people. You don't even know. So
Right,
can
right.
you I want to talk a little bit about we mental health's important. And I want to talk about something you said. Explain if you can, the warm going from that warm hug that you feel um to feeling that state of like nothing. Others have said it feels very gray. there's no there's no gumption in life. There's no reason. Everything is absolutely gray. It That must be profound. Like that must play into this, like more as much as the physical part of it is just knowing that you're going to go from feeling that to to feeling gray.
Right? Yeah, because like when you stop, you're gonna have a painful time, and then you're gonna have a bleh time. And you don't know how long it's gonna last. For some people, it depends on how much you've taken and for how long you were taking it. It can be anywhere from a month to a year or two. And
Right.
so you've got that big unknown, right? You don't know when you're gonna feel better. And so it's really easy to say, I'm gonna take a little bit more just to take a break from this feeling. And then you end up going, this feels so much better, and you're stuck in the loop again. It's
Right.
that tragic addiction cycle.
Right. Let me ask you this question. Um, is 7-O something that is talked about like is it talked about like amongst others? Like will you go like, "Oh, hey, how's it going? Have you tried any good 7-O?" I know that's really like dumb what I just said, but well, you know how people are with alcohol. Like, hey, have you tried that wine lately? Have you tried this lately? Have you done this shit lately? Oh, you tried that new vape pen. This is 7-O like that, or is it truly like you go into the gas station or buy it online? But let's just say gas station. You go in, you get it, you take it, and it's like we don't need to talk about that. I'm on it.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that because nobody in my life really knows about this addiction that I had. But my friend that introduced it to me does. Obviously, he does, right? And so I went to visit him the very next year. Labor Day weekend was becoming a thing where we always just got together. And and he was like going, dude, you gotta check out this brand I found.
Oh
And he
my
was like, he's like, dude, he's like, this stuff's really good. And we go off to the vape shop and get it. And I was like, oh, it is kind of nice. And he's like, here, give me the one you had. And so he was the only guy that knew about my experiences, and it was like that. It absolutely was. And when you start using these different brands, you notice there are differences. Like I know some brands would make my stomach really churn, and I'd want to vomit and just feel. I'd still get the high, but I wouldn't feel great, And others was just like a really nice. I feel wonderful, and I have no problems with this.
So
And
you probably have you tried like all of them, all the different?
no, no,
No.
there's so many.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I probably tried 5 or 6 different kinds.
Sure, sure.
Especially so, even after that final quit I had a year ago, I've had moments where I'd take it for like a week and then just stop myself. I don't really call them relapses because I was able to just stop and be like, whoa, what am I doing? Don't jump back to this. It wasn't like one of those month-long battles.
Right,
And maybe that's unfair. Maybe they should be called relapses. But so when those happen, I wouldn't get it online because then you're getting like a month supply, and I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to have a tablet. And so then I would go to the gas stations, and I did discover that some brands just didn't agree with me, while others were tolerable. Honestly, the that VII was the one that didn't bug me at all. That was really the only
right,
one where I had no side effects. But maybe that was a dosage thing because back then I was on like 15 or 20 milligrams, and nowadays you go somewhere and you see a pack and they're like 80 milligram tablets or 100 milligram. To where even if you cut them down to fourths, you're still getting like what used to be a full pill 2 years ago,
right,
and
right.
that's insane. To me, it's insane. You'll pay $45 for 5 100 milligram tablets. You got five. Actually, I think it was higher than that now. I saw one that said once you add all the tablets up, it's like 1,600 milligrams. And I know from my time on Reddit that there are people who are taking 1,000 to 3 or 4,000 milligrams a day. They're rare, but they are out there. And at that level, that subs routine I was talking about, it just doesn't work
Yeah,
anymore. It doesn't work. It's not
it's too
enough. You
much.
can't cover it. So you've got to taper down to like 3 to 500 milligrams before you can go that type of rapid taper on it, which is crazy. And then it's not just seven anymore, right? They start coming out with new things like pseudo. I don't really know what the full word is, but it's a different type of seven. It still hits you the same way, but the withdrawals are a little bit longer, more severe, and subs don't help a whole lot with it anymore. And then they came out with this other product called MGM 15,
Yep.
which I've heard subs don't do anything for. And there was one guy uh, on Reddit that was telling me, "Oh, that's the way to get off seven. Use MGM. You don't have to take it as often, and it's a lower high, but it lasts longer, and you don't spend as much. But, I mean, you were just addicted to a new substance, and it's the same withdrawals, just maybe more severe.
Right.
So I never really got into that one. And I'm kind of glad I didn't because I've heard too many horror stories.
The woman that I had previously spoken to, I forgot, she was out in Oregon. I think she said
Yeah, that sounds right.
um MGM 15. She said that was starting to come into play. She was starting to hear about it and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Now, it sounds to me like they're going to, if they haven't already. I will not ever speak out of line on this. I did try to get up some notes quick. It's not. It's is it scheduled to be a Schedule 1? Is that what I have correct? Like
So
you can still purchase it right now.
okay, so where I am,
Yep.
so I know federally, like the first week of August, they were going to do a temporary 2 year ban on it, right?
Yes.
And the
Yep.
proposal was, I think they wanted to make it a Schedule 1, right?
Okay.
Which is up there with heroin and all the hard
Sure.
stuff.
Yes.
So it's a temporary 2 year ban. So I've noticed where I live, I don't really see it anymore.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
I don't. Although sometimes I wonder if I asked them if they would have something under the counter, Because I remember I was at one gas station that used to have like this huge glass display of all these different brands. I mean, it was a big display. And after the ban, I just wanted to see if he still had it up or if he had taken it down. And I went in there and it was all down. And as I was walking away, I kind of stopped and I was like, no, I'm sorry. I went in there as I was leaving. I was like, oh, I didn't notice if it's still up or not. And I turned around to look and I was like, oh, never mind, because it wasn't there. I was like, okay, that's nice to know. And as I'm leaving, he goes, hey, are you looking for something specific? Let me know. Are you looking? And I was like, no, I'm good. I'm good. And I just walked out. So or maybe they're just trying to get rid of their current supply, trying to bottom out.
I'll speak to my own experience. When I first started this series, I went down to a local gas station and it was already banned here in Connecticut. And I said to him, I said, "Hey, do you have any 7.0?" And he said, "No." And I won't ever reveal who it is. But he said, "If you head towards the university," he goes, "go to the particular station on the left hand side. They still have some they'll sell you."
Interesting. What
And
scares me is,
I wonder, people are there's if they're sitting on this merchandise, or maybe they're not, but I would have to think that there's still something going on.
yeah,
Maybe that's me presuming. But what do you what do people do when they can't get access to this? Do you think that they'll be making more, like, do you think we'll see more products on the market to replace this while this is under this ban?
I'm wondering. I don't know if MGM 15 was included in the ban or not, but
I want to say it was, but I could be wrong.
yeah, if it's not, though, it might get more traction. I know that there is a research chemical called SR17018 that was supposed to be like, it's still a research chemical, but the idea was, hey, this is going to get people off of opioid addiction, and it's supposed to work really well. And I don't understand why that was included in the ban. Uh, but other than that, I really don't know. 7.0, I haven't seen around. Um, Pseudo was always under the name 7.0. You'd have to look at the ingredients to know if it was pseudo or not. And I
Yeah.
have a feeling that's gone too. MGM, I have no idea. I never really went to that circle. And I know a lot of these products were starting to get advertised as proprietary blends. So you know what was in there. And I imagine it was probably MGM in those products. But I was tempted to look into it and just decided not to. And I guess I was fortunate.
Thank God you didn't. Thank God.
Yeah.
There's a guy on TikTok. He takes he'll actually take the pills, like all the various 7OH, and he'll send them to a lab to see actually what's in it. And
Yeah.
some of them, he's like, "Holy shit!" He goes, "What you guys think you're taking?" He's like, "Whatever this is," he goes, "This is next. This is next level, and it's all It's like synthetic, right? I mean, is that safe to say that it's
I think so. It's a blend of who knows what you're getting.
you don't know what you're getting.
No. And who
Let me
knows what
just
the consequences are, because you hear about I know hormonally it really messes with your body, like your endocrine system.
Yeah,
Because I've heard of like menstrual cycles being interrupted. Um, I know that, like, I don't know how the I'm sure there's male stuff going on. I know testosterone drops, the levels drop.
yeah, yeah,
Um, Shoot, I'm sure there's a lot more that I'm not thinking of. I've heard of people getting bad skin for like
yeah,
flaky skin. I've heard of people losing hair. Uh, the side effects can be pretty nasty over time, right?
yeah.
So the first time you take it, it's all happy, and
Right.
like every drug, right?
Do you think do you think there's a place for it? Um I do have users that have reached out to me and said, "Hey, you do talk a lot about people who are trying to get off of it, but there are people that use it for medical issues." Do you have any thoughts on that?
It's funny. I've been asked that before, um, and my answer was, and I guess it's still the same. Maybe there is. I don't know.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm doubting it, but maybe under the proper doses, maybe if it's uh, carefully given, kind of like we have with, say, Percocet or tramadol or those things. I mean, there is, or even fentanyl. There's a legitimate use for that stuff if it's proper precautions are taken, right? And so I
Right.
imagine maybe this stuff is the same way. Maybe we need to isolate some chemical in these alkaloids because there's a whole bunch of stuff in it. I'm sure there's something useful in here. I don't know what it is, but I
Right.
don't think we should just toss it and say this is useless. I think that, like, I've heard of people using it for pain management, right?
Yes.
Um, and I think that's great. These are people that aren't able to get their strong medications that they used to. They've been cut off for some reason. There is a danger. I mean, huge danger of physical dependency, but maybe they already have that physical dependency. I don't know. I know that people have used Seven to get off of harder drugs like fentanyl and heroin. right? Because it can cover it, and then because it can cover the side effects, the withdrawal symptoms of those, because it has such a short effect. Then once you get off heroin, say as an example, then you've only got to deal with 7-0 for a week, instead of the heroin, which can last weeks and weeks of a withdrawal effect, right?
Right. Right.
Like I've heard of people using it to get off of Suboxone. That's how my friend got it. He was on subs, and he used seven to get off of that. Well, kind of. Actually, I think he had mostly quit. I think I mentioned that earlier. But so I'm not going to say there's no use because I'm not anywhere near the medical field, really.
Right. Right. And you know what? I think it's really a fair thing to say. I've never dealt, I don't have substance issues, and I don't understand that. So how could I sit here and even, so won't even touch that?
Right.
Um, I think, I think we can all agree, and well, we'll find out. We know everybody will comment if we mess up. But I think we can all agree that it really is the mismarketing or too much marketing or too good of marketing. Look, when people go in, they should know what they're looking at. The number one thing I hear is that I was given this or I got a free sample. I didn't really know what it was. I wish I was told a little bit more. Those people that knew Kratom, they didn't really understand what they were taking either. I
Hmm.
think based on what I saw, marketing's way too good. Um, Way too good, way too pretty, way too perfect. And then to not really tell people what they're getting into. And I'll never say, I mean, do I think it should be banned? I'll leave that up to everybody else. I don't think my
Right.
opinion necessarily matters. But I wouldn't want kids to be able to go in there and say, hey, what the fuck? Like, forget trying to get alcohol at 21. We'll just get a 5 pack or 7 pack of 7-0 or something like that. That's a freaking problem.
I mean, I know I could be wrong, but I believe they have a 21 plus on the
Yes,
packages. But
they do.
what does it
They
matter?
do.
Like,
Right.
they can get it somewhere else. And the other thing that concerns me about like a huge federal ban is there's going to be a black market,
Right.
and I just worry what it's going to be contaminated with and how, I mean, it's not like they were, being watched by the FDA and doing it correctly before, right? uh, so, but I do
Fair.
wonder though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it won't be any different because it wasn't really watched anyway. But it
Yeah.
worries me what might replace it.
That's what the wonder is. And I, based on also what I'm reading too, it seems like people can still kind of access it in certain parts of the country, but they're getting scared because it looks like things are really starting to come into effect. I
Yeah.
really,
I heard of
I
people
don't know.
hoarding them, like buying a whole bunch so that they have a supply, which they're going to face that wall eventually.
Yeah.
But there's a fear there. I mean, withdrawal is a scary thing, and it gives you one of the symptoms is like a fear, like a primal fear. I don't want to say it's unreasonable, but it's like you're more scared of withdrawal symptoms than you really need to be. You're always assuming the worst. It just makes you feel you're like a panic attack, really.
Yeah.
So I can see why people would try to stave that off as long as they can, but and I really hope that they find a way to get off that's, I mean, it's not going to, as far as I know, the withdrawals don't kill you, and they're short, but they're extreme. So I wanted to say I hope they find the painless way off, but really there's going to be a way off whether they find an easy way or not. So I just hope that they're able to get off in a way where they don't find a way to return to it, because I really think that this product is doing a lot of damage to our bodies that we're really not understanding right now, at least at the doses that people are using them recreationally.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting. I will definitely have to go kind of look around at the same places I stopped at before and kind of see if it's accessible or if it's something you can get still or not.
Sure.
Um, wow, Eric, your story is amazing. So how do you feel today? Let's talk about Eric today. Like, you're good, you're sober,
Yeah.
you're doing well.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. Good for
Um,
you.
the Wellbutrin really helped me. And then I think it was in May, I started using a low dose naltrexone, LDN,
Nice.
and
Yeah.
it kind of, okay, you've heard of that. It kind of
Yep.
helps rebalance the brain a bit. and that really pumped up my energy. I felt a whole lot better after doing that. Uh, I don't know this firsthand, but I've heard that if you're starting to do LDN, if you go back to it, your tolerance is zero again. Like it resets that tolerance.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
scares me a little. Like if I ever break down and get some, it's going to hit me just as hard as it did the first time.
Right.
Well,
Right.
and not to encourage people to take LDN to reset themselves, although I'm sure people do that. But
Yeah.
but LDN has really helped. I feel like it's helped me mentally get a clear head again, which I've been missing. Wellbutrin gave me the not confidence, the self control to not go back to it over and over again. And I feel like the LDN is clearing up that brain fog, and uh, I don't know. I just feel better than I did before. Maybe it has nothing to do with seven.
Yeah.
I
No,
just knew a
no,
lot of people recommending it, so I went for it.
no, that's good. I thank you for sharing that. Um, I want to ask you something. This is kind of a little bit weird, and you share as little or as much as you like. But
Okay.
based on what you were telling me a little bit about, like the Wellbutrin and other things, do you think there's like a correlation between like mental health and always trying to find that next thing, or is it an addictive personality? Like, would you say, looking at yourself now, would you say, you know what? Maybe it makes sense because maybe I have mental health, not
hmm
issues or whatever you want to call it. Or is it because you truly have an addictive personality?
That's a great question. Am I self-medicating to try to rebalance something in my brain, or is it just
Yeah.
me enjoying the abuse?
Yeah, I know.
Because I
I
mean,
know.
I was diagnosed with depression years ago.
Okay.
Um, what'd they call it? It wasn't bipolar. It was like I don't remember the name for it. It was a certain kind where it's like it's always bad or it's really bad.
Got it.
I mean, but I never really trusted that diagnosis because I never had days where I couldn't get out of bed. Right? I was never
Yeah.
that far, but I was always down, and whatever. But um, I don't know. I think that maybe I could be trying to self-medicate because when I got on the Wellbutrin, I felt a lot better, and I didn't feel the need to go take this anymore. Or if I did, I was able to stop and not jump back onto it. In those
Right.
few times I would do it for a week and be like, I don't want to do this again. It gave me a lot more self-control. So I think there might be some self-medication for me. Um, I mean, I can't speak for everyone. Maybe
Sure.
some people just really enjoy feeling that way. I
Yeah.
always enjoyed it.
Yeah,
You know.
right. Hey, the warm hug. I mean, shit.
Yeah, yeah. I know there's people that can use it for a week or use any kind of recreational drug for a week and they'll be done and they're fine with it, even if it's highly addictive. And I was never that person. So maybe there is something to that personality.
Right. Right.
But can I am I allowed to plug a website where you have a lot of resources?
Please, by all means.
Right. Okay. So um I've been a moderator for one of the subreddits for quitting 7.0, and I've been a moderator since that thing was brand new. I mean, I've been there a lot longer than pretty much. I think I was like the 12th person on there. And
Really?
first off, I want to say it the best advice I ever got, and it was like it's a very popular subreddit, but there were only like 10 posts when I jumped on there. And the piece of advice I got that just saved me that for that first cycle was stop reading all these horror stories about what withdrawals are like, and just stop using it and see what happens because your experience is not going to be like everyone else's. And all you're doing is psyching yourself out and making yourself afraid to do it because there are some nasty horror stories out there.
I've read them. They're bad. Really
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Really, really freaking bad. Yeah.
And so, in any case, back to that website. So, over the months, and I guess I've been on there a couple of years, we've been trying to educate people about 7.0, and we've been trying to help those who are going through the withdrawals and the pain and even the suffering afterwards, that mental, I don't know what to call that, but that battle where you want to go
Yeah.
back and
Yeah.
learning how to live again sober, which is a huge deal in recovery circles, right? And anyway, so one of the mods on this subreddit, uh, I guess can I say what the subreddit is?
Please, by all means.
It's quitting 7.0. The word quitting 7.0h, right?
Yeah.
And so one of our mods developed a website called quitting70.org, and there is a ton of resources on there about different medications you can take. Not medication, I'm sorry, supplements and some meds that'll help with withdrawal symptoms. All right. So if you don't want to jump into subs, which I know is scary for a lot of people, and you're worried about, oh, it's going to be on my medical records, and I think that could be a legit fear.
Sure.
Uh, and if you just don't want to go that route and you can't get a hold of this SR, people are calling it a miracle. I haven't tried it, so I can't really speak for it. If you don't want to go those routes and you're kind of stuck, there's a whole lot of different supplements that can help. It won't take it away, but it'll help. Things
Yeah,
like black seed oil helped me a lot when I was trying to quit kratom alone. It made a difference for me. Liposomal vitamin C. It's kind of a you gotta kind of take a lot. It's a lot. But there's a whole regimen if you want to try that to quit this addiction. But anyway, so that website will have a lot of those helper med descriptions and how it helps and what to go through. It also has a lot of other resources like where you can go for meetings if you want
that's
to do
great.
like an AA type thing for Kratom.
Yeah.
Um, I want to keep talking about what's on there, but I haven't been there in a while. I'm drawing blanks. But it's worth listeners who are going through this issue, it's worth just going to the website just to get some information. Maybe you
Yeah,
won't find it useful, maybe you will, but if you're looking for a way out, it's worth looking at, right?
absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
worth popping on there.
Yeah.
So, and we've also
100%. I'll put that in the description. People can
sure.
go to it. That's fantastic.
We also have a Discord server. If somebody wants to chat with someone live while they're going through a 2 a.m. craving, and you know what? I'll have to send you the link for that server
Please
uh,
do.
because I can't think off the top of my head. But yeah, we've really tried to develop a community to help people who are going through this difficult time because I know that a lot of people didn't mean to get there. They were blind.
Yeah.
People told them try this kratom extract. I hear that a lot, and I was one of those people. I had no idea what I was getting into. So
That's incredible. That's yes, please send that to me. I think what a resource. What a resource to know
yeah,
that you could just go on whenever and you're like struggling and talk to somebody who like freaking understands what you're going through. I think that's amazing. That's amazing work. Yeah.
we're hoping it helps. I think we have about between 1,000 and 1,500 members on this server. I'm not sure how many people are active. Honestly, I'm not very active on it, just because I'm not, but a lot of people are. A lot of people like me who have a lot of experience in quitting the substance, and people who are in the middle of it who just need someone else to talk to. Right?
Yeah.
It is definitely a mental battle, especially after that week. After that hell week, it's the mental battle is insane. It's hard to describe it. I guess it'd be like when you quit smoking and you really want to go back. Think of that happening for like a couple, 2 or 3 months. You know, it's pretty extreme. Yeah, it's just every now and then you want it, and you just easy to jump in. So, and that's the other thing is that when you've been using it for a long time, when you go back to it, it doesn't feel like it did the first time. So you're not even getting that same high, which is maybe why, at least for me, the dosage kept increasing every time I did it. But you don't get the same thing.
What on Reddit, I believe it was somebody who said, that first time you take it, it's euphoric. It's
Yeah,
unimaginable. But the problem is no matter you can never you're chasing that first time and you can never get back there.
called chasing the dragon,
Hey.
and you will hurt yourself trying to capture it.
Yeah.
You really
Yeah.
will.
Yeah. Wow. Um, Eric, I wanna thank you so much for your time. This has been an incredible you've given so much information and you're gonna give me those links after and
Yeah,
everything.
I will. Sure.
Um, is there anything else you want to say before we finalize and finish off? Is there anything you want to say to everybody listening tonight? There's a lot of people that are going to watch this.
Um, I guess the main thing I would say is that you're absolutely not alone. There are a lot of people suffering. A lot of people didn't know what they were getting into. I'm sorry, bad timing for this.
No, you're okay.
But I think a lot of people are concerned that they're alone. They don't have anyone out there to help them. Someone finding your podcast could just be reaching out looking for help because they haven't heard of this. They don't know what they're stuck in. You are absolutely not alone. A lot of people are going through this. They're innocents that got trapped by a fancy package in marketing. They were told it was just Kratom and it's not a big deal. It just feels nicer. And you end up in this horrible place and you don't know how you got there. Maybe you've never touched pills before, right? But now you're in this unknown place and it hurts when you try to stop. And that's a dreadful place to be. And I've been there and a ton of people have been there. And there's plenty of people who have gotten out and there's plenty of people who get out and then go back in. And there's some who just can't get off. Anyway, the point is you can find somebody who understands what you're going through. You do not have to do this alone. You really don't. And I hope that people understand that. And also, don't let the horror stories of people who are stopping make you not stop, right? Because that piece of advice is what got me to quit the first time. And it was such a golden piece of advice. And I see so many people getting tripped up in the subreddit that I'm on. That's just they're always like, I'm afraid, I'm afraid, I'm afraid. And yeah, there's reason to be afraid, but it doesn't have to be that guy that was like crying all night and couldn't get a wink of sleep and knows it's going to get worse because there's a peak, right?
Right.
Your story may not be like that. Probably won't be. Everyone's unique to a point. And there's also that personal fortitude. Maybe it won't be as hard for you to go through that. Maybe that person is just can't take that kind of abuse. Like I've had panic attacks since I was a teenager, right? So the idea of having anxiety, which is a huge symptom of this, it just terrifies me.
Yeah.
And for someone else, it may not be. They may be fine with feeling that way. So you know, everyone's story is going to be different. Find your own. Everyone's going to have a different road to quit, right? Find your own. And the best way to start doing that is to stop reading these horror stories and just start trying. Taper down or quit completely, use a helper med. There's a lot of different paths out there. And through all of it, there are people who you can talk to during that time. So there are resources. There were not when I was coming through this 2 years ago. It was like nothing. But there are now.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to suffer. It's we're yeah, there's it's 2026. There's lots of different ways to not have to suffer completely.
Right.
So some people are
Absolutely.
real advocates of you got to go through that pain, and only then will you understand that you'll never want to go back. And that's not true. People will go back after that.
Right.
It
Right.
just you're just physically in pain. There's no shame
100%.
in seeking help, and there's a lot of help out there if you want to find it. So don't give
That's
up.
right.
And if
Eric.
you go back, don't give up. You can keep trying to quit.
Yeah.
Some
Hey,
people quit for 2 years, but they keep going.
you are living proof that it can be done. You really are.
5 cycles, 5,
5.
which is embarrassing, really.
Nah.
So I guess I never quit. I just took like 2 or 3 week breaks.
Yeah. Yeah. You never gave up. That's the most important thing.
Right.
Um, Thank you for your time
Yep.
so much. Thank you for sharing, opening up everything. Thank you for the valuable information. You and I will not stay out of contact. We're friends now. Um,
Good.
as soon as this is done, I will obviously send you the link and
Okay.
everything, and we'll go from there. And I want to help any way I can and use our platform to help. So um, we'll stay in touch. Your subreddit has been so good to me. The nicest people helping me help you and whatnot, just getting the word out. So thank you so much for everything, Eric. We'll be in touch.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate
Take
you
care of
letting me
yourself.
talk to you. All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye. Good night.